2026, the American urban landscape is a patchwork of historical quirks and bureaucratic puzzles. While most of us think of zoning as simple residential or commercial designations, several U.S. cities operate under rules that feel more like a fever dream than urban planning. From the absence of a master map to the hyper-regulation of furniture, these laws dictate how millions live, often in the most bizarre ways imaginable. Here is the 2026 ranking of the weirdest zoning and land use laws across the United States. 1. Houston, Texas. Why number 1? Houston remains the largest city in the United States without a formal zoning code, earning it the top spot for pure unpredictability. In 2026, it is the only major metropolis where a resident's vote has repeatedly killed the Z word. This lack of traditional land use restriction has created a surreal urban aesthetic where a towering skyscraper might sit directly adjacent to a single-story bungalow, or a massive industrial concrete plant could legally operate next to a primary school. The reality, while the city lacks a formal zoning map, it uses a complex web of deed restrictions and development codes to maintain some order. However, these are private agreements rather than public laws, meaning affluent neighborhoods stay uniform while lower-income areas often become Wild West zones of industrial and residential overlap. The struggle. This flexibility allows Houston to build housing faster than almost any other city, keeping prices relatively lower than coastal peers. The trade-off is a visual monopoly board chaos that forces residents to live with the constant threat of a gas station or a high-rise popping up in their backyard without notice. 2. Boulder, Colorado. Why number 2? Boulder is home to one of the most specific and controversial outdoor land use bans in the country, the upholstered furniture prohibition. In 2026, this law strictly forbids residents from placing indoor furniture, like couches or armchairs, on their porches or in their yards. What sounds like a petty aesthetic rule is actually a desperate public safety measure born from a decades-long tradition of local college students setting sofas on fire during street parties. The reality: the city identifies upholstered furniture as a major fire hazard and an invitation to arson. If you're caught enjoying the sunset on a velvet sofa on your front porch, you face significant fines. This has led to a market for outdoor-approved furniture that looks remarkably like indoor gear just to bypass the code. The struggle. For residents, it's a constant battle between comfort and compliance. The law has significantly reduced the couch fires that once plagued the city, but it has also turned porch sitting into a regulated activity where the type of fabric you sit on can lead to a police citation. 3. Waldron Island, Washington. Why number 3? This tiny island in the Puget Sound has a zoning law that sounds like a riddle. No building or property is permitted to have more than 2 toilets. This isn't a joke about bathroom habits. It is a calculated anti-development strategy. In 2026, the law remains one of the most effective ways the community has preserved its isolation and limited the population density of the island. The reality: by limiting the number of toilets, the island effectively caps the size and capacity of any new construction. You cannot build a hotel, a large apartment complex, or a sprawling mansion because the plumbing code simply won't allow the necessary facilities. The struggle. The law is intended to protect the island's fragile water table and maintain its quiet atmosphere. It has been incredibly successful at keeping developers at bay, ensuring that Waldron remains a time capsule of rural life, even as nearby islands succumb to luxury tourism and urban sprawl. 4. Los Angeles, California. Why number 4? Los Angeles possesses one of the most granular eldercare zoning mandates in the nation. In certain zones, an eldercare facility is legally prohibited from existing unless it combines both senior independent housing and assisted living care within a single structure. This hyper-specific requirement is designed to ensure a continuum of care, but it makes developing small-scale senior housing a bureaucratic nightmare. The reality: the zoning code is so rigid that if a developer wants to build a simple home for independent seniors, they are often forced to add expensive medical infrastructure they didn't plan for. In 2026, this has led to a shortage of mid-tier options for the city's aging population. The struggle: while the law aims to prevent seniors from having to move as their needs change, it has created a missing middle in senior housing. Residents often find themselves either in a luxury mega facility or with no options at all as the zoning makes smaller, community-focused homes financially impossible to build. 5. Meriden, Connecticut. Why number 5? Meriden makes the list for its silly string prohibition. a zoning-adjacent public hazard law that specifically targets minors. In this city, it is illegal for anyone to sell silly string or similar aerosol foam products to a minor unless they are accompanied by a parent or legal guardian. The law was enacted to curb the vandalism and public nuisance caused by the foam during local festivals and Halloween. The reality: the city treats silly string like a controlled substance. Shop owners are required to verify the age of the purchaser, and using the product on public property can result in immediate confiscation and fines. It is a rare example of a city zoning its retail environment to prevent a specific type of playful mess. The struggle: while it keeps the streets cleaner, it has also turned a childhood staple into a contraband item. Local teens often cross city lines to buy the string, leading to foam smuggling during the autumn months. It remains a symbol of small-town overregulation that most residents find both hilarious and mildly annoying. 6. Scranton, Pennsylvania. Why number 6? Scranton has a surprisingly strict ban on the most iconic symbol of the American dream, the white picket fence. In many residential zones, traditional picket fences are prohibited in favor of more modern or open landscaping. This isn't about the color, but about the specific vertical slat design which the city historically viewed as a spite fence or a visual obstruction. The reality: the city's code encourages unobstructed views to prevent neighborly conflict and ensure that emergency services have clear sight lines. If you install a classic picket fence without a variance, the state can force you to remove it or lower it immediately to comply with the 6-foot nuisance limit. The struggle: for many homeowners, this is a heartbreaking restriction on their property rights. The law has effectively sanitized the local aesthetic, preventing the quaint look that many buyers seek. It has turned Scranton into a city of chain link and hedges, where the picket fence is seen as a rebellious act. 7. Aspen, Colorado. Why number 7? Aspen's municipal code includes a zoning-adjacent ban on one of winter's most common activities: snowball fights. The law explicitly states that it is illegal to throw snowballs at any public or private property, people, or vehicles. In 2026, this regulation is strictly enforced in the high-end retail districts to protect expensive storefronts and the city's premium atmosphere. The reality: throwing a snowball in Aspen is legally categorized as throwing a projectile, putting it in the same class as throwing rocks or discharging a weapon. While kids in parks are rarely harassed, a snowball thrown near a luxury boutique can result in a police intervention and a hefty fine. The struggle: the law is a reflection of Aspen's transformation from a ski town into a high-security enclave for the ultra-wealthy. It highlights the tension between the playful nature of a mountain resort and the litigious reality of protecting multi-million-dollar glass windows and celebrity pedestrians. 8. Ridgeland, Mississippi. Why number 8? Ridgeland has a unique anti-burglar bar zoning ordinance that bans the installation of security bars on the outside of windows. If you want an extra layer of security, the law mandates that the bars must be placed on the interior of the glass. The city argues that exterior bars create an eyesore and project an image of a high-crime area, hurting property values. The reality: any home built or renovated after 1996 must comply with this aesthetic mandate. Homeowners who had bars installed before that date are grandfathered in, but once those homes are sold or remodeled, the bars must come down. This has created a hidden security market where bars are disguised as decorative interior trim. The struggle: residents feel the law prioritizes curb appeal over actual safety. Interior bars are often more difficult to install and prevent windows from being opened for fresh air. It is a classic case of a city using zoning to curate its image at the expense of its residents' practical needs and sense of security. That is all for today's video. Do let us know what you want to see next.